As much as I told you so, guys. I told you that the live action adaptation, was not going to be great, not even going to be good. It was borderline mediocre. At least mediocre isn't terrible. You can't say it's an assassination. They've tried to at least keep it faithful to the series, at least keeping it like even ethnically accurate. Most of the globalized CGI animation kind of was a bit faithful. Not trying to be uberly pseudo realistic like the animals. Omashu. Some of the sets were just brilliant looking. The actors were kind of looking suitable for the role, and some just felt like they were just not suited to play character wise. They made the early parts of Zuko more unlikable than how it was back in book one of the Avatar, The Last Airbender. It was just they tried to make it like suitably like that the Fire Lord was a brainwashing, pseudo maniacal dictator, and he was manipulative and battle hardened, created power hungry. But over to a distinct where like they overacted. But the Fire Lord was Ozai was insane. His voice actor, his actor that portrayed him was very accurate. Even had the jawline correct, bro. Motherfucker actually looked like a villain, and they looked Asian, and some just looked completely cartoonic, overly try to fictionalize, especially Uncle Roku. He not Uncle Roku, not Uncle Roku, but Uncle Iroh. Like he just some of the characters look straight out of Quest from the Monkey King storyline. And bro, the story, especially the guys that were working under, that were part of the Scourge to try to capture the Avatar with Zuko, a bit unrealistic. Zuko looked like he had pink eye, and just the pacing, just a bit more clustered in the show was a bit questionable in my opinion. And I understand there's so much you can serialize when you already expect it. It's only 8 episodes of a binge fest, but only an hour's worth of content. So you expect at least to space out over an hour's worth of having Sozin's Comet, invest over to Aang, developing his responsibility as the Avatar in a young age, while the assault over the Fire Nation, you could pace it over. There should be a mystique to what happened over a cause and effect so we could show, not tell. That's the whole point. Aang left when somebody needed him the most. After being frozen in time, the Fire Nation destroyed the Airbenders. It was already distinct episodes after he left and went over to the Northern Water Tribe. We did not have to go over a distinct detail that they pulled up over Sozin's Comet and just brutally killed him. I know they were trying to go for a more mature intake. Zuko trying to say, kick Paku's ass. Less jokes, unless they were minimally there, especially over the cabbages. It took like 2 episodes to push over to Omashu. That took a whole last season. They didn't even bring into more depth around when they were in Kyoshi Island, and Zuko literally pulling these bitches barely just in 1 episode. That he just got in relationships with Yuki and Yue like it was no one's business. Not even time to develop the contrast over the interaction with one another, and they only hit over to the sexism into the storyline, even though technically Zuko was there because he was enshrined with being the responsible chief, and women had their own role to play thanks to the majority of their waterbenders were taken away. That built over his protectiveness, his smart ass ability, humor, and intelligence. And some of that they built over, but I felt like they tried to two-dimensionalize their most of the characters, especially for Katara. Katara felt like had the worst of it. She still had like the novice ability that of being a waterbender, but she was incredibly whiny. While she had her like outbursts in the series, like she was motherly. She was the heart of the group. Majority of trying to stick to one another and try to keep them together, even when Aang was out of place, and they weren't even building over that much of a romance to begin with. While this was early over in the series until they reciprocated it. Even the Tunnel of Love after Omashu, that involved more characters, and majority of the time, they didn't even push over to the invasion over Omashu until we waited fucking 8 episodes of oh my god, Azula, chubby face ass, complaining that why is my father having me train Zuzu over here just goes where she pleases. Like, it didn't even take an immune amount of time for Azula to know that her son's a castaway failure, and she was sent off with her and her friends to capture the Avatar, or at least be involved over the Earth Kingdom, without the Water Tribe getting involved. It doesn't even take that much of a pacing stripe to do to suddenly encap the audience without that much exposition. And I feel like there was an exposition dump up the ass for something that even children could understand in a television show on Nickelodeon. I felt like that was like a major issue in the show. Was there some parts I wish they got right? Sure. You could still watch it. I'm not gonna take that away, but majority of the audience that even hate watching it, I see them streaming the original Last Airbender. Not Korra. Let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy. But honestly, a bit mediocre. Even like in the beginning of the show, like Aang, instead of using his patented glider that he used for a lot of escape scenarios, traversing through the area while using his airbending that he used to levitate. Like, motherfucker can't fly. I don't think you had to wait until like literally the next series until airbenders could fly. Is like their secret potential. Just like how firebenders could use lightning, earthbenders can use metal, and waterbenders could use bloodbending. But those took over like traversing events in some like seasonal and or like in a mass amount of training. So big difference. Obviously, like sometimes it felt like it was like rushed. Majority of the like taking over Omashu, getting pushed over to Omashu, traversing over what took several episodes until like 1 hour, and trying to sandwich that over to transition over to plot lines. Literally, they even put the owl that you saw in the library episode. Bro, we didn't even get to see Toph yet. He was the spirit animal that that was advising him over Ko instead of Avatar Roku until later, and the dragon brung him over there. Why was his friends there in the spirit talking to him, but they couldn't communicate because he's the Avatar? It's like they're making their own stuff to try to traverse around the plot, trying to make stuff linear for a world that's very vast, and I think that got a lot of fans to get upset. Trying to, push a linear story. And I understand they're trying to probably do this to push over to the mainstream, when fans obviously are just going to watch the older show. So hopefully, I guess, if they want to, because I know I'm expecting a second season, just like I am with the One Piece live action that I did not watch, sadly, because I have 1,000 episodes in my fucking memory about that stupid show now, and I even got thousands of chapters on my head now, so I'm not wasting my time with a live action, bro. I apologize. That's 2 hours of my time that I could watch, an hour's worth of 20-minute episodes or 15-minute episodes. So there's a lot more that I could just sandwich in than this live action trash. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna give it like 4 out of 10. I would not watch again, in my opinion. It looked nice. It was like tens tens of millions for an episode of already something that these guys obviously didn't go over to the drawing board to discuss if you think like the audience is going to catch up even though you're trying to obviously get to the adult I guess the young adults atmosphere, but I don't think that's going to work. That's it for me.